It's showtime.
What's up guys, Django Fett here, and I really don't want to make this video, but it's been a hot topic nowadays, and I feel like I need to give my 2 cents and talk about microtransactions and season passes and all of this nonsense in the gaming industry. So back in the day, back in the 90s, early 2000s, we had big, complete, full games that weren't deliberately split off or were anyway, greedy practices. And if we did want some more from that game, we'd have expansion packs that would add from 2 to 20 hours in the game alone. They would be like almost complete full games almost. And they would add a lot. Expansions. Not this DLC nonsense we get nowadays. And now gaming has fallen over the past decade or so and has slowly become a more gambling and greedy monopoly for publishers. Now, I'm not gonna say developers are saints as well. They're doing great just as well, but they're also part of the same loop as the publishers, and they've also defended the practices of the publishers at times. I mean, just recently, it was like a couple months ago, with Shadow of War, the developers were promoting the microtransactions. They were streaming it and promoting the shit out of it. If that's not disgusting right there, I don't know what is. That is utterly disgusting on every level. I hate the fact that there's microtransactions in single player games, and people find it acceptable to put it in multiplayer as long as it's cosmetic. That's wrong right there too. I'm a bit of a hypocrite myself and have indulged in microtransactions for Overwatch because I wanted those skins. But it's still not acceptable at the end of the day, and it's gambling. It's legitimate gambling in the gaming industry. I've nearly put twice the amount of money just to get those skins, okay? And it's appealing too, to spend money and, open those loot boxes, but in the end, you get nothing. You get some rares and good items, but for the most part, it's a bad investment. These publishers know it, and they're getting more money from that. They know you want that skin, and they know you want to, put money towards that. So that's why they have these restrictive practices in place, behind a paywall, instead of just playing the game for skill. That's the problem. Randomized items that you open up with a loot box. You open a loot box and it's random items. It's gambling right there. And if you do it, without paying, it's a grind. You have to spend hours upon hours just to level up and get those loot boxes, and it's not an easy feat. I just feel like gaming has fallen over the past decade, and with AAA games too. I mean, I think the last AAA game that I just remember just loving the developer very much was The Witcher 3. And with CD Projekt Red being the developer, it was an incredible gaming experience. Like, it was a full, complete game that I spent like 50-60 hours in. Plus, there was the DLC, or I should say the expansions, like true expansions, that added like 20-30 hours into those games, into the game itself. That's 20-30 per expansion. That's a lot. But now we have microtransactions, and basically microtransactions with cheat codes, like with Deus Ex Mankind Divided. If you want those praxis points to get those more skills and you wanted to use them, you want to get in more, you'd have to spend money for that in a single player game. I think that was like the first, maybe one of the first single player games that implemented microtransactions, and that's pretty disgusting. People find it more tolerable towards multiplayer than single player, but still both are just as wrong. Plus, we have the case with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah, there's no DLC and all this nonsense, but it's fucking EA we're talking about. It's not too good to be true when it comes to an EA fucking game. Okay, come on. Wake up, guys. And that's with the gambling loot boxes in order to pay to win and have the advantage in the game. Instead of actually progressing through skill and grit alone, you have to pay in order to get that distinct advantage. And that's where many people have drawn the line. I've drawn the line way below that and still find all microtransactions are wrong, but this one is distinctly wrong. Like, you're basically, if a kid gets his mom and dad's credit cards and pays towards that, he'll have a distinct advantage over somebody who's played like 100, 200 plus hours. Like, he'll probably spend like $200, $300, and he'll still have that advantage over that person who, you know, spent that time and effort in the game through skill, through time alone. And that is wrong. That is also wrong as well. And I'm tired of this shit, okay? I'm tired of just feeding towards the shills and corporate entities out there and the people who are just bandwagons into EA, Disney, and all this other nonsense. I'm tired of this shit, okay? I want to be honest and tell it how it is, okay? So I'm making a stand right now, okay? For any game that I'm looking forward to, I get my hands on and I play, no matter how great the gaming experience is, I'm going to give it a fair shot. Don't get me wrong, I'll give it a fair shot. But if it implements microtransactions and stuff that is really controversial, like Forza 7 and, you know, Shadow of War and so forth, Battlefront 2, any of those games, they end up being phenomenal, 5 out of 5 experiences, any one of those games. Because they implemented microtransactions, they're going to come down to a 4 out of 5. There's not going to be any more perfect games out there unless they're older titles. But if they implement shit like this that hampers the gaming industry for gambling and lucrative practices like, you know, microtransactions with Battlefront 2 and so forth, I'm making a stand and I'm saying no, fuck that shit. And I know many people have stood up against this, and I really love that. I really appreciate what people have done with that. Review bombed, and with the media outlets speaking up and telling it how it is. They're like the real media outlets, not the fake shit like with IGN and so forth, fucking corporate shills. But the real companies out there that tell it how it is, the real people out there, and it's making a difference. Forza 7, Grand Theft Auto, they've implemented things that have just been really bad. And after the review bombs and so forth, people spoke up, and it's making a difference. And eventually the publisher's like, okay, we're gonna take this shit out or most of it out, and it's made a difference. That's really said something. And while I'm not a big critic out there, I don't review that many games. If I'm ever gonna review a game or say it how it is, I am going to take it down a notch, okay? I'm not going to be overly critical. I'm not going to be overly for the game itself. I'm going to be in the middle at the same time. But if I see microtransactions, oh yeah, that score is going to come down a notch for sure. Okay? I'm making a stand myself, and I think you guys should too. Keep doing what you're doing. Stand up against this, this gaming monster, gaming industry monster that is just crushing us with this gambling, loot boxes, and lucrative practices. Stand up against this shit and say to the publishers, this is wrong, we don't want this. Just take the shit out, okay? You are ruining the game experience for everyone because of this shit alone. So that's just my 2 cents. No matter how great that game is, it's not going to be perfect if it has shit like microtransactions. And my score is going to be affected if that shit comes into play. No way am I going to accept it anymore. We're just too accepting nowadays, and we just got to be like against shit like this now. Okay, we got to be against it. The greedy and corporate entities don't give a shit about you. They just care about making that money at the end. Making those profits. They don't give 2 shits about you. And that's the truth. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts of the gaming industry now. Do you think it is as bad as it is now, or do you think it's actually good? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to please like this video, subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.